There seems to be a major problem happening in our society right about now, and it's about males, a very important factor of our community, and they're in trouble. There seems to be a rampant amount of articles dehumanizing them and making them look like the bad guys when they're not. Articles about mansplaining, manspreading, articles that patronize men and makes him cater to the whims of any woman that he interacts with or interacts with. And I see many examples of men getting the sharp end of the stick. You know, in video games, or in movies, or in TV shows, cartoons. It's very apparent to me, that men are seen as lessers and are as less valuable than a single woman. You know what there's many examples, many examples in movies. When a disaster happens, it's always the men the women and children first. It's never the men or it's not. It's never the men, the woman, and the child. It's always the woman and child. Like it seems like men are less valuable to are less valuable to society. That they're not worth the same. They're not as valuable as children or women, simply for the fact that because they're men. It seems like they are seen as expendable. That they're not. That you can throw them in the battlefield and they die, and nobody cares. Nobody cares, because who cares if a man dies in a battlefield? But if a woman dies in the battlefield, oh, that's terrible. Oh, that's awful. If a child is suffering in a war-torn town, oh, that's terrible. Oh, that's awful. Oh God, that's terrible. Why are men seen as the less valuable sex? Why are we seen as expendable? Even though we contribute heavily to society. Like the Battlefield 5 situation, when it was revealed to the general populace that a Battlefield 5 trailer has been released, it showed a woman with a prosthetic arm. It showed a woman with a prosthetic arm fighting in the front lines, along with a black man and 2 white people. And the people who seen the video hated it, not because there was a woman in the not because there was a woman in the video, but because from what I heard, Battlefield usually holds itself as really a realistic battlefield, like a realistic war game. Like, and it's hard, and it's historically accurate. And don't get me wrong, there has been women recorded in history as fighting in wars, but they were never in the front lines. They were always medics, or they were medics. They were never in the front lines, unless you count, I think, Russia. Russia had women fighting in wars, but they were mostly snipers. And snipers don't fight in the front lines. They're usually away from the battlefield, from all the action, and they pick off like enemies that are unaware that they're in their line of sight. And the fact that she has a prosthetic arm, it doesn't make any sense. Why would the military allow a woman with a prosthetic arm fight in a war? It seems like a hindrance instead of actually being, being helpful to the army. And then Active DICE doubled down and called all the people who were complaining sexist man babies, and told us to, if we didn't like it, don't buy our game. And that's exactly what it did. What we did. We didn't buy their bullshit game, because it clearly had some kind of, the trailer clearly had some kind of, agenda that was aligned with the feminist agenda, and people didn't like that. People don't like feminism, because it's trying to corrupt the things we like, the things we love, and trying to justify it by claiming that it's sexist and that it has to change for the better. And we don't like that. You don't like that one bit. I mean, I'm fine with women being in like multiplayer. But if you're gonna sell, if your franchise is built on real historically accurate games, and suddenly you freaking change your games, what your game's all about, to suddenly change it, and then claim that that the people complaining have to change, have to either, be fine with that ideology, or just, or just ignore it altogether. It's kind of stupid. Feminism does not belong in the gaming industry, and many examples have been shown to agree with that, with what I'm saying. Like the Battlefield 5 situation, clearly proves that. And the Battlefield 5 situation, the Wolfenstein 2 situation, the people complaining about women being hit by cars in GTA, the apparent lies that Anita Sarkeesian spews in her stupid videos. Fucking bullshit. These people are trying to corrupt, you know, a hobby that millions upon millions of people enjoy, by claiming that everything that happens to a woman, that is sexist, or anything that happens to a minority, oh, that's racist. And these kind of people do not believe that any kind of racism against white people, or any sexism against white people, men, don't exist. They don't believe they exist, because racism against white people is prejudice. It's because they believe racism is prejudice plus power, and these people are trying to change the definition of racism and sexism, and you know, making up their own fucking words about it, and making up words as they go. That black people can't be racist, and it's fucking bullshit. And that we white people are supposed to lay back and take all this racism against us, when we have shown evidence of racism against people of color in our history. But that was in the past. That was, you know, that was in the past. America has changed has changed. And has changed for the better, you know? There's, you know, I mean, there's a little bit of examples of racism against black people, but those are tiny, minuscule. Nobody's gonna congratulate those kinds of people in this society. But racism against white people? Oh no, that's okay. We're literally doing what Martin Luther King told us not to do. We're literally taking his words and shoving it up his and throwing it in the fire. Cause that's what all the feminists and SJW crowd does. They discriminate against skin color and gender, and if you don't agree with them, they'll silence you and try to prop you up as a sexist or racist and or misogynistic for going against what they believe in, and it's fucking bullshit. And I mean, you know, because they're evil, and they want to turn them back into post Russia, communist Russia. They don't want opportunity, equal opportunity of. They don't want equal opportunity. They want equal outcome, and that's a terrible idea. Because look what happened to Russia. A lot of people died because it believed in communism. And I don't think anyone wants that to happen again in modern day USA. Because that would be a terrible idea. I mean, the people who are complaining about video games being sexist, racist, or misogynistic are not even gamers at all. They're not gamers. They're not. Anita Sarkeesian is not a gamer. She's not. She lies. She lies. That's all there to it. She lies about the topic she talks about in video games. But people are so fucking brainwashed by her that they don't see that she's a fucking liar. And it's, fucking bullshit. That she has so much fucking influence for her, otherwise, evil ideas. Because she doesn't care about feminism. She doesn't. She's just there for the profit. Why do you think she took fucking $30 from her supporters? And then all she produced was a fucking shitty show about talking about all the problems in video games when she doesn't play video games, and all the things she's talking about in video games clearly shows that she doesn't play video games. And there has been a multitude of people showing concrete evidence that that shows that she's not a video game a gamer. She's not. And I can tell you the people right now, the Dishonored Wolf, Rags, Sargon of Akkad, give me a minute. Computing Forever, Roaming Millennial, all those people. She doesn't play video games, and people still listen to her, and taking her bullshit and believe it as facts, and they're not. She doesn't know the one thing about video games. She's a faker. She's not a critic of video games. And that's why Gamergate freaking exposed all those fucking bullshit, bullshit art journalists that only fucking focus on things that happen to women, and if a game has any like SJW propaganda in it, and it has all the you know the basic requirements, like, you know, two women talking about it, two women talking to each other, girl power hating men talking about the patriarchy. The fucking journalists today will pop that as a masterpiece. They will, and it's fucking bullshit. I mean, for all the apparent fucking problems in video gaming, that includes, you know, microtransactions and, you know, locking out in-game content behind the paywalls that were supposed to be in the game, but companies decided to lock it behind a paywall. Those are problems in video games that need to be addressed. Not this apparent sexism and racism in video games. Someone had the gall to call The Witcher 3 racist for, and it's bullshit. And I've seen so fucking many people complaining Deliverance for not having fucking black people. Like seriously? That game was supposed to be historically accurate to its culture, and that culture didn't have any apparent black people in their culture. So why should black people just be forced into a game that they have no part in? Forcing diversity is not a good idea. Changing characters to fit a bullshit narrative is a terrible idea. You know, because that's what they did with the Ghostbusters movie. Previously 4 male members of the Ghostbusters team were suddenly changed into women for no sudden reason. And from the clips that I have seen, their jokes were terrible. The jokes are terrible. The story didn't make any sense, to be honest. And you know, and it doesn't make sense that companies are trying to pander to these idiots, you know? They need to stop pandering to these idiots. Bringing feminism into your game is just gonna make it die. Look at what happened to Battlefield 5, and it's gonna happen to any fucking game that brings feminism into its game. It's gonna die out. Nobody's gonna buy it. Why would they want to listen to a game that props up women and bashes on men? Why would they want to listen to the constant blabbering of how the patriarchy exists and how women are oppressed? Nobody's gonna buy it. Nobody. And then when the sales are low for those types of games, the producers are gonna fucking cry sexism and sexism and possibly racism and throw every fucking buzzword at us and complain, and the left-leaning media is gonna prop them up and tell us that we're sexist for not buying the game, even though we don't want to. Why should we do something that? Why should we stop everything we do and run to cater to your feelings? That's not how the world works, and I'm slowly but surely learning that that I to destroy any mentality, any idea of how the world works in my head, and try to cling on to reality. Because I'm telling you, there's definitely sexism in gaming, but it's not towards women, it's towards men. Because, you know, all the enemies in video games are men. There's no women. You know, the video game series like GTA, where you can drive around and hit any pedestrian you want, male or female. That's equality. That's equality. You know, why should men be the only ones getting burned, stabbed, shot, and filled with lead, being have acid thrown on them, being thrown off cliffs, being disemboweled or being disassembled, having any having been tortured or having anything happen to them? Why are men are seen less valuable than women? Why is men seen as expendable to even men? And there's definitely and feminists want to talk about male privilege, you know, and there's none of that. There's none of that. There's definitely female privilege. Because anything that happens to a female, the society automatically rushes to you know the fuck? What the fuck? Is that supposed to happen? Why am I out of my what the fuck? Is that supposed to happen? I never seen that before. The only time I seen that was my character, he was like luring like peering out of this while I was like leaving this, and I saw him like right there, like looking over to me, and I just got confused. That's weird. But anyways, anything that happens to a female, society automatically caters to them. But anything that happens to men, society ignores it and tells the man to grow up, man up, and just face it. And like, there's why is that? Why does society, you know, caters to a woman's whims automatically, while at the same time telling men to, you know, you know, man up and stop being a big a man baby. Why is men's lives allowed to be ruined, and they can do nothing about it because some stupid female lied about rape allegations, and the man's life gets ruined? But you know, the woman gets away scot-free. And if the man, you know, is in an abusive relationship with a woman, and forget about it. Abuse centers for men will just laugh at him, and you know, and tell him that he's the problem, that he's the reason why the woman's abusive, and it's unfair, and I think it's like, and I think it's a part of the reason why I'm afraid to talk to women. Is because I'm afraid one of them is gonna be one of these crazy fucking radical feminists that will get me in trouble simply by talking to them. And I'm scared, you know? I'm scared. This is why I'm antisocial because I don't like dealing with people and their problems. And having that extra fear of talking to one of these crazy radical feminists, that antisocial thing, that fear just heightens, you know. And I'm just spewing what everybody else has said, like Dr. Sham. He's a great channel. He talks about feminism and video games and all that crap, and he's a great channel. You should definitely check him out. He goes into detail, more detail than what I have said. Also, Rags is a great channel, as well as the Dishonored Wolf, Roaming Millennial, the Computing Forever. They're all great channels. You should definitely check it out. I hope you enjoyed my ranting, and have a great day.